Perfect. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to a beach version of this week's webinar. So I hope everybody enjoyed their holidays and getting ready for another week. So obviously in the overnight hours, again, because it was the holiday weekend, there hasn't really much been going on. And today being the first trading day of the new month, so we just need to look at some of the bigger picture stuff as we make our way through this week's charts and see what we should be expecting coming up. So let's just get right to it. Just get myself organized here. My mouse. This helps to find the mouse. Okay, there it is. Let's get rid of this. And the beach music in the background is killing you. Sorry, man. What can I do for you? I'm in the lobby, you know. Boy, the Wi-Fi is not as strong in the room. I figured let me come sit in the lobby a little bit. But I'll take a picture and show you what I'm looking at over here. You'll freak out. Okay, anyway. Yeah. So let's begin. All right. We're going to take a look first at the higher time frame charts. So we're going to start with the monthly chart and see what we're looking at over here on the ES. Obviously, we've now had 2 red months in a row, which we haven't seen all of last year. Okay. I don't know if you can see that clearly on the chart. We had one dispersed inside over here someplace, and really the 2 red months is quite rare. It goes all the way back to 2016 since the last time we've had 2 red months, and even those were just little doji, little small candles. I mean, the last time we had a really big sell-off was in the beginning of 2016, and if you look at the candle structure, it looks very similar. You see what we're looking at here? What are we expecting out of the monthly chart? Well, right now we're still in an uptrend, and we should be looking for demand to take hold at some lower time frame to continue the downtrend until we get a lower high. There is no lower high here. Right? We have this hammer candle, which seems to be failing now because we were unable to get above the highs of the hammer. Right? See that? And we had an inside month, so it's likely that we test a little bit lower, maybe hit the demand, right, and then get this big pop. Okay, so that's what the monthly chart is saying. We'll see if that's confirmed based on some of the small time frames, but that's what we're looking at over here. Our weekly chart does have the lower high, right? But then it's got a problem, okay? What happened over here? After this massive sell-off, right, over here, after we confirmed this is the lower high, we ran into trouble over here. And this last week candle was a harami. Why weren't we able to break down? What happened? Right, so we're looking at a drop and the beginning of a base, and then, what comes next? Well, I don't know. It could be a rally, or it could be a drop. Either one. I don't know. At least from this chart, we don't really know. It could very well be a double bottom and a back test, to the top again, or it could be a drop-based drop and a lower push down. Right? So this chart isn't telling me that either. I don't know. Right? No way to know that here yet. Okay, so let's keep going. That's the weekly chart. What's the daily chart showing us? Well, drop base, 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 base. Right? So I'm starting to lean towards a little bit of a rally here coming because you could see that on this chart, right? This 200 moving average on the daily chart seems to be support for now. You can see that, right? And you can also see that we've been banging up on it over here. And I'm starting to think that we're not really going to see these lower levels yet. We may have to see one more leg up first. This is showing some strength. Over here, there was obviously a gap. Right, back-to-back greens over here. So that means we gapped down, and then we've retraced the gap already. Right? Maybe I need to refresh my charts. Let's do that for a second, only because it was a holiday, and I don't know if I'm looking at what's accurate, so let me just refresh that. Okay. Control-R. And yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, so over here, not looking so weak, actually. It's starting to show me that it wants to hold up a little bit. You could see that on the 240 level. That's starting to be even more clear. You see what I'm saying here? We rallied up. We made a higher, this lower high, but then we didn't break the bottom. We came back into the demand zone, and we banged around, and we rallied out. And this is looking like a bull flag over here. So, I think 2,700 is probably the battleground that the bears are going to be fighting at. And the bulls and bears are going to fight over here. Could we drift up to 2,700? Yeah, I think we will. At least so far when I'm looking at over here, that's what it seems to say. Let's keep going. All right. And Okay, so there you have it. Now I know what's going on. Okay? So here's the demand zone. Take a look at it back here, right? And see how many times it's held down here. And then we popped up, and we hit some smaller time frame supply over here. And now we're sitting on top of this. This is what's holding up price currently. And there's demand underneath us, right? And you can see that the 50 average on the 60 is now starting to slope upwards. You can see that we're starting to hold the bottom down here. And, 2,700 seems to be like the next spot I think that this is going to get to now. That doesn't mean that, we can't do one flush down. If they're really going to rally this thing back to the top, let's go back to the higher time frames for a minute. Actually, I'll just pull up the 15 chart in case anybody wants to see some of the levels that I drew. I'll just zoom out a little bit here. There's where the supply zone's above us. The demand underneath us, I didn't really draw yet, only because we haven't broken through any supply zones yet. But there is definitely demand sitting right here at 26 and change. Okay? If you're interested, there's demand zone right up here. Okay, and when we start busting through this high, I'll start to pick up those zones. But in the meantime, it's just noise. Let me go back to the higher time frame for a minute, because there is a very good possibility that if they want to rally this thing and bring it back to like the 2,800 supply that's up there, they might do a washout of the longs first, right? Which would mean they would want to just pop out underneath the 25 area. Under here, let's go back to the bigger time frame for a minute and open this up. Okay. There's a ton of stops sitting over here, all right, underneath this thing. And for sure under here as well is 200 moving average. So they might just give us a quick wash, maybe tag 2,500 and then rally to the top, or they won't. They're just going to just start running this thing and start to squeeze out some of the shorts that are sitting over here. And there's the fresh supply. Up here, maybe we get up here, and then that's when the collapse happens. And the summer tends to be, bullish as we get into summer in general. And the beginning of April is, almost always, in the last bunch of years, maybe 80 or 90% time. The first couple of days of April are extremely bullish. So it's possible that we just start going right here, or it's possible that we start, pushing down a little bit, stop out to people. But so that means really what you're trading now is the smaller time frame charts, because that's going to tell us which way this thing wants to go. And ES on the 60 to me starts to look bullish here. Okay, so I would be careful of any shorts. Take fresh supply zone. Yeah, you could take a fresh supply zone, but remember that by the time we get up to the next one up here, the trend is flipped. We'll be in an uptrend. So be careful up here on the shorts. I would even consider potentially getting long if I start to see something hold and I can get in with a cheap entry long. I think that's probably the better trade. Okay. Anyone has any questions? Be my guest. Go ahead and start asking. Otherwise, I'm going to move it NQ. Let's see if NQ is sitting out is looking like what ES is doing. And we know NQ has been much weaker on the way down, so it might not be as bullish as ES. I haven't looked at it together too much. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Just see if there's questions. I don't think I saw any questions. Not yet. Okay. All right, so again, on the monthly chart, the candle looks the same. On the weekly chart, it doesn't look as strong. It's not a harami. We had a harami on the ES. Over here, we did get a lower low on the weekly candle of the NQ. And it's a doji candle, pretty much, right? You can see that, big wicks on either side and a little body. Okay? So, fine. Here we go on the daily. Remember that NQ had that daily demand that was not on the ES. It had actually two levels, and we got down to the lower part of it, remember? And then we start to bounce. This was Thursday, right? And now we're just hanging around over there. So we did get a hold of the level of 64 and change so far, right? And we're seeing if this is going to become a higher low to see if we can start to rally back up. Not looking extremely bearish at all yet. Just looking like it's holding that zone so far. Nice, very strong, nice move. Oh boy. Yeah, take a look at the 240 chart, okay? So the demand actually is demand from way back, right? It's not from here. It's from something back there. And we hit once here, you can see that. And then we had a chance right here to break the bottom. What happened here? We rallied up, we had a lower high right here, and then we should have continued down, but we didn't. We actually exploded up, and there is a ton of air up here. Look at this thing. This is a bull flag. This is looking bullish also. Look at this. Okay, this is just backtesting. It's going to hit some lower time frame demand somewhere over here and give you another one of these moves. That's what it looks like to me. If I start to put some lines on the chart, maybe you'll see what I'm seeing. But look here. And now look where we're trading right now. See that? That's what it looks like. So I would be very, very careful on the shorts over here. Let's take a look on the 60. Oh boy. Okay, the 60's got air, no question about it. The 60 also has a level of demand that we've just backtested into. And if this thing starts holding, we're looking at the reversal right here. Right? Here's the low. There's the demand. We rallied up. We couldn't break the bottom right here. Then we broke through the top. We hit something even smaller than a 60 that gave a little pushback. We came back to the 60 demand. You can see that. Looks like the 50 average is holding price currently. When we start rallying out of this, where's the supply? Holy shit, it's all the way up here. We're talking about 350 points from where we are. So, very careful for anybody who want to be short. I would rather be long here, that's for sure. So, let's take a look on the 15 if there's something that makes sense. So a little nonsense supply. That actually looks like something that was, no, that's just this little level over here. Let's put the demand on right there. It's now looking like it's ready to go. And I'm going to zoom out and see what's above us on the 15, if there's any zones that we need to know about. But here's our demand zone over here on the 15. Just bear with me while I move that around a little bit. Using my little trackpad on my laptop. It's not as accurate as my mouse. Just bear with me. Okay, and there's the demand. Let's zoom out and see. Okay, so it looks like this little peak over here sort of got into the beginning of this supply zone, right? And if we come back to that thing with a higher low, again, a hold of this, we'll get up at least to 6,700, at least. Beyond 6,700, we're talking about 6,750. So, we'll get a reaction at a 6,700, I would say, for now. And that's probably a pretty good target to aim for. If you're going to take a long, which it looks like it's starting to develop here, again, we're going to wait for the bell before we get into anything on the equities. But I would say long into 6,700 for the next day or so. That's what it looks like. And again, assuming that we hold the supply in the 60. Okay? Everybody good so far? So far, so good. Okay? No more questions? No questions? Keep going. Just keep going. All right, crude. What do we get? So the double top at 60 66 is taking place so far. And now we just need to begin, right? There's our double top. There's the first one. There's the second one, right? Actually, we're on a daily. I should go back to the higher time frame first. So let's go do that because we're talking about monthly, weekly stuff first. Sorry about that. Just getting excited, so I'm skipping around a little bit. There we go. So on the monthly, we hit the monthly supply, right? And we were unable to really sell off. We just built a base, and we retraced the prior month. That's quite bullish. You can see the 200 moving average right above us over here is definitely resistance, no question about it. And the 50 average underneath us looks like it's going to try to turn to support over here, right? So far, what would that mean? Well, on this chart, we have no clue. It looks like it wants to keep going. This is where we start to have some information, right? We have a nice sell-off, a rally. Then we couldn't break the highs up here, right? So on the weekly chart, anything under 66 is stay short. The trend is still up, but it's potentially beginning to flip here, right? Because this lower high might create the lower low that I'm talking about down into this thing where I'm saying we're going to explode to the top, right? So for now, this is still looking bearish to me, right? Just keep going for a minute. Again, if we just retrace last week's candle on the weekly chart, then obviously we could explode to new highs, but I don't think that's really going to happen here. There's our little drop off, and now we're just back testing this little gap area, and 65, there's a test coming over here, at least of the trend line, and more than likely underneath this thing. So this doesn't look ultimately, I'm leaning short. Here it is on the 240. As I work my way through the charts, you start to see that I understand, that it makes more sense. See, this is a head and shoulders, right? Here's the head, here's the shoulders, here's the other shoulder. We're looking at this beginning to collapse. You can see it right here. And there's air all the way back down to this zone, that's for sure. And then, this one would have a lower high on the way, and we're talking about breaking through that sucker. At least, I would say, target for this week is probably 63 for crude, okay, down there. That's what it looks like. Let's keep going down and see if that makes sense as we work our way down through the time frames. Well, there's the 60. It looks like it just missed my zone by a few ticks up here, and it's coming into demand right now. Let's mark that off. Okay. There's something here. Right? This little area right over here. It's quite big. Okay. Some demand over here. About to arrive into that sucker. I would say if I'm interested in the short at this point, I want to see a lower high come on here after we hit this demand zone from a lower time frame perspective. We're testing 65 right now, basically, is what we're doing. And we're going to hit some demand over here. We need to make sure that 65 will get touched again. I'll bounce up a lower high. If it's going to hold, that's what's going to happen. And then we're going to roll over and start breaking down, which is what I think we should be looking at. There is actually another demand over here. Yeah, Dave. 76.91 on the 15. Okay, we're going to go look at it now, but there's another one over here on the 15 as well. This like 64 and change area. So we're going to go down to the 15 and see what that looks like, but there's definitely demand coming into that right now. Here we go. Let's take a look here. Okay, yeah, on the 15, I would put it here. Sort of level on level over here, right? Because this really looks like where it's sitting at. Let's see, this is where the demand is. Right there. So this little, where we're looking at over here, yeah, there's a little something right over here. It's small, and, we might watch it. But this is where might want to get long. You know what I mean? Somewhere down under here. If we rally up over here, create a lower high, I'm interested in the short. For sure, up here, I love the short. Definitely like that short. I would like to actually see, some of this lower level cleaned out first, and then we hit that thing. That would be great, but I doubt that's happening. We'll find out. But in the meantime, I'm leaning bearish for crude. I don't see a great entry right here for anything just yet. I'm sort of watching, waiting for something that makes more sense. I don't know what I'm looking at. All right, let's take a look on, yeah, we're about to hit this. What time is it by you guys? 8:45. Okay, so it's a little early, still in the morning, got that. Everybody have any questions about crude so far? So far we're talking about long on the equities and still short on crude as our bias for the week so far, okay? All right, let's take a look at gold. Gold is a mess. Charts are really messy. Okay, so start up here on the monthly. We're inside the triangle still, right? And we've had this sell-off the prior 2 months back. This month we sort of engulfed the candle, but the body really just turned into a doji. It was rejected at the highs. It was rejected at the lows and closed somewhere in the middle. I don't think, Alex, it makes a major difference for Passover as far as the volume is concerned. No, I think it should be about the same. All right. Gold on the weekly chart peaked up above last week's. Definitely rejection up there. And you can see we're sort of, banging around right now. We came back, we filled the rollover gap that I was talking about last week, and then we start to rally now. We've got a ton of air. If you look down on the 60, on 240 in the daily, you'll see where we're sitting in air, basically, and there's room. So which way does gold really want to go? I mean, this whole thing up here is just a mess, right? It's got the double top, triple top action. I think we're going to actually see maybe one more touch of this lower high over here, and then, this area somewhere, and then the collapse is coming. I have no doubt that we're going to collapse. I know I can say with almost certainty, because of last week's candle, that anybody calling for a breakout of this triangle is drunk. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. It isn't happening, at least not in this leg. There's a push down coming, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be under this thing, okay? We're going to be under 1,300. How far under? I'd love to get it all the way down here. I don't know, but maybe just a test. If you look at the 200 moving average, look what the number is. 1294. Right? So that's a pretty good likelihood that we touch that before we really break through the top. Pretty sure that we're not breaking out to 1400 and 1370 and all those fun numbers that we have up there without the back test. So at this point, on the smaller time frame charts, I would say you want to probably be long on gold until we start to get to like 1350, and then it's over. Okay, so I take that back. The long is almost over. Take over for the 60. All right, so there's the back test. This was our gap over here, right? And then we came into that area, and now you can see that we're retracing. We're about to hit a wicked supply zone right over here. Wicked. So, and even that one, if it doesn't hold, which I believe it should, it's pretty strong, nice tight doji with a massive leg down after that. So, $15 down after the doji. They're going to get a reaction out of this sucker. And even if it doesn't, I mean, look, we're right above it. There's really beautiful supply sitting at 1350, 1355. We are not, I'm repeating, we're not breaking through the top over here. We will be rolling over, and we will be breaking down. The question is just where. We're not there yet. Some of these demand zones under here are maybe valid on a smaller time frame, but on this particular chart, they're not yet, just because we really haven't tested any supply yet. I'm walking through it just to say. Over here, there'll be some demand over here in the 15 chart, maybe over here. We'll take a look at it now. But this level here should give us a kick in the face and bring us at least back to this area, 1330 or something. So there's about $8 coming on the downside right over here. Okay, so watch that. That might be a trade for today. Let's take a look. Okay, on our 15, yeah. So as you can see now, start to break through some supply zones. There's another one. Okay, so we just took out this beginning of this sucker. Now I can put some demand over here underneath us. And there's another one over here. We'll see if it gets another back test, but that's what we're looking at for now. We're about to come into some supply. I'd be looking for a short up here. Watch it come into the zone, let the little time frame turn over for you, show you the lower high, and then you can start talking about getting short. Okay? So watch gold, potential for a nice little trade. Who's got a question? Somebody raise their hand. Get my mouse up there. Question, give me a second. Ashwani. Okay. Turn on your mic. What's up, Ashwani?
Hi, Joe. Good morning.
Mic is on. Go ahead. Good morning.
Hi, Joe. On monthly chart on gold, you're saying it has to go down. Can you just explain your logic on that? Because it is bouncing sideways if you zoom out. Why are you saying it has to?
Oh, I didn't say that the monthly chart is telling me it has to go down. I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I just said that it's basically inside the range, inside the triangle, and then when I work my way through the time frames over here on the other stuff, it's telling me that we're going to be breaking down. We should have broken out right here. If you look back at this chart for a second, okay, take a look at the daily chart. Okay, this is a lower high. Yes, agreed. You agree with me so far, right? And this is a lower low right over here. We should have been breaking. We should have broken down over here. Didn't happen. We actually rallied back, and we had a chance right here to break through the top. What the hell happened? Why? What happened up here? Totally failed. So whatever I see over here now is nonsense. And this is all noise. We're going to get a little pop into some supply, and then we're breaking down. We might, we need to come back under here, pick up some demand, and then we'll get through the top. It isn't happening now. How do I know? This is how I know. Right here. This. Okay?
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. All right. Continue. So that was gold. Let's do nat gas. So a bunch of us are in a swing long from nat gas, including myself. And we should be fairly happy. We got in pretty low down there, and we had a really nice looking candle on the weekly chart. So again, because we're the first day of the month, the monthly candle just stopped the bleeding, basically. We got a harami right after the prior month's big sell-off. On the weekly candle, we actually got a higher low with an engulfing candle. Well, that makes me very happy, right? We have Harami the other way, bullish Harami, right? And it's actually a higher low. And what's exactly up here? Oh, yeah, nothing. That looks damn good to me. You could look at that on the daily chart as well. There's our higher low right here. We're about to take this little blip out, and we'll be at our target, 2.9. That's our target for now on this leg at least. Right into the supply zone. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Look at the 240 chart. This is a bull flag. We're banging right through this supply zone. We're chewing through it right now. Okay, we started getting long down here, and bang bang. We're looking real good, folks. Okay, so 2.9. Just sit down. It's a little choppy. It's taking its time getting there, but it looks fantastic as far as the direction. And therefore, any little small time frame pullbacks into demand are add-ons at this point. Okay, because this trade is starting to work really nicely. Take a look on the 60. We've just hit another supply zone that's about to get wiped out again. Okay, this is our supply back here. And here you go. We've hit the supply. There's our reaction. We come right back to the first level of demand, this rally-based rally right here. And then, boom, right back to the supply zone. That means we're going through this thing. And the next one is, I don't know, 40, 50 ticks more to go. So it's looking great, right? And therefore, any smaller time frame, 15-minute demand zone or whatever, is add-on time. Okay, so looking really nice on the long side here. If you're in it, let it go, baby. Swing trade is working really nicely. Okay, here we go on some supply. We're going to get through that sucker. This I really like. If we get some volatility around the bell over here, and you push into that sucker. So you want to maybe add on over there. Okay? Cool. That's not guess. If anyone has a question, go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, we're moving on. Dollar. What do we get? So on the monthly chart, we got a test of the lows that was rejected. It turned into a hammer candle, which means we need to see it continue otherwise we're going to get the failed hammer and push underneath. So the monthly chart's not really telling us anything just yet. On the weekly chart, we can see actually that we've made a higher low. We got a pair of twins. It's a hammer candle as well. So looking a little bit more bullish. Okay. On the daily chart, we were pushing lower down in the beginning of the week underneath here, but then we really retraced strong retracement, right? And you can see on the 240, we actually built a really nice demand zone right around 89, and we're starting to work our way through the supply that's sitting over here, right? At 89, 80 and change. This is looking like a bull flag again, so I'm thinking we're not done. We're just chewing through supply. We should get another leg up coming over here, and the dollar is going to continue to show some strength here. Let's take a look. Open this up a little bit. What's up here? Yeah. So 90 seems to be the level that we're going to probably try to reach. There's probably some 60-minute demand under here if you're looking for something to join and push ourselves up into the 90 area over there. Okay. Let's look at the euro because I'm loving the euro short from what I'm seeing on the dollar. On the monthly chart, we sort of got a pair of twins with some rejections of the highs up there. So not very clear yet, right? It's an inverted hammer. We don't know if it wants to break down yet. But again, if you look at the weekly chart, it's an engulfing candle, right? Engulfing to the bearish side. Twins. That's telling me that we are lower high, right? And engulfing. The highs have been rejected, and there's no fresh demand under here. That's for sure. We're talking about a pullback into the 1-2 area again. So I think we're topping out here on euro. It's time to think about getting short for the swing down into the 121, 120, this demand zone under here on the daily chart. You can see that we were rejected up here. We totally retraced the last leg up. And maybe today's the day to look for a short entry. Let's take a look. There's a very nice supply zone on the 60. On the 240, if we can get up there, I don't know. But I would be saying somewhere inside over here on the 60 chart, maybe around 1.2 or 1.245, something like that. There's probably a really nice supply zone waiting to be hit. Let's take a look. Oh boy, there it is. We're almost there, actually. The 60 chart is got a fantastic supply right at 124 and change. Beautiful level there. This is really like level on level, the higher one, right? Because it starts over here. I just knocked off the beginning part. But we'd have to watch the beginning part over there for the reversal as well. But this looks great. Okay. Currently, looks like we had a gap up last night, so that has not been filled yet. And that would lead me to believe that if we touch the supply, we're going to run into that gap. That's, oh boy, guess what? There's a short right now, right here, right now. There's the entry right here on the 2-minute chart. So there's the lower high that we're looking at. Okay, I'm just gonna, and I'll explain that to you right now. Okay, let me just put my T1s in there. Okay, so I just told myself I wanted to be short as I walked myself through the charts, and I'm looking for an entry into the short side, and clearly over here we were still in an uptrend on the 15, and I know we were getting really close to supply over here. Then I came onto the little time frame. I see this little double top. If you look at it from this perspective, over here we were still in an uptrend. And then we sold off into demand, and then we just did this right here. There's the lower high being formed. You can see it on the 2-minute chart. That was my entry, the little engulfing candle here, right? Right here. This is the entry. Stop goes right above. There's my risk coming off the trade. And after that, I'm just going to let this sucker run because I don't know where the hell the bottom is. Okay? So that's the trade. If anyone has a question, raise your hand. But that's how it works. Okay, I'm looking for the euro short, so I'm risking, you could see, a minute amount of money. $150 for 5 contracts. Right? Someone has a question. Okay, let's answer your question. Who's that? Let's find out. Keith. Hey, Keith. How's my British friend from Texas doing?
Yeah, I was going to ask you on that euro. Wasn't if there was a little lower high like about 5 minutes earlier and with the red engulfing, would you have taken that?
Let me go back there. Yeah, so you're saying
I'm just trying to
this
find
one here, this one right here.
No, the next one along.
This one here. This one here.
That one, yes.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, I would have taken that. I would have. Yes. So your sound is clear, but not clear. But yes, I would have been stopped.
My text was angry. Yeah, okay. I was just checking. You would have taken that, right? Okay. But you would have got stopped out again.
I would have taken that trade. I would have been stopped out, and I would have re-entered right here after which is the one I just took. I would take it.
Okay.
Because again, you can see when I'm taking a trade, it's minute risk, very small. So yes, I would definitely take this twice. I would.
Because it looks like a higher low relative to that. It looks like a higher low relative to that last little tiny low. The high rather. I don't know, what am I saying? It looks like a higher high, I mean.
A higher high. This one, this thing over here?
Yeah, slightly higher than the one before that you would have taken.
It is slightly higher than the one before. It is, absolutely. I'm not saying it's not. But yes, I would have traded the first one, and I would have been stopped out, and I did trade the second one because you just saw me do it. So
yeah,
there we go. Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Next, there's another question from Luik. Next. Hey, Luik. What's up, brother?
Hey, Joe. What was your entry price on that trade on the euro?
Mike's on, Luik.
Yeah. What was your entry price? What was your entry price on that?
Entry on the euro?
Yeah.
124055.
Okay. All right.
Sounds
good. Thanks.
Okay. It looks like we're about to get T1. Give it a second here, and we'll move on in a minute. We're about to get T1 here. I just want to make sure that I am not too far. Yeah, I could use a couple of ticks up. Just get away from that demand. You see that demand that we're looking at over here on the 5? So that's going to give me my... All right, now we're above that. That's fine. And that's even more than I need, to be honest with you. I could actually pull it down right now and take this. You know, if you wanted to be aggressive, you could take your stop now, put it above when this candle closes in 50 seconds. If it's red, you'll have twins. You can put your stop over there and just grab the T1 off or whatever. But I don't want to do it only because I'm looking at a very nice bearish candle on the 5, and pretty sure we're going to see the T1 here in a minute or two. So we'll leave that alone. We'll move on. Okay. If anyone has a question, raise your hand. Otherwise, we're done with this and moving on. All right, JY. Okay, so I think we're about to see another leg down on JY. Let's take a look over here. We've sort of peaked above a little bit over here on the, the little wedge that we had going on for, I don't know, a long time. It was the old 2017. We were banging against the bottom. We rallied off the top. You can see that as we hit, the supply back here at the beginning of middle 16. Push down, bang, bang. We just back tested, but this is real ugly. See the bearish engulfing candles on the weekly chart? So, do we get a little pause over here and then break back downside? Is this a false breakout? I think it is. I think it is. And that's sort of telling me that I think I'm right on the bullish call for the equities here. We'll take a look here. We've hit demand on the gap area over here, which was our target, if you remember last week. Little gap fill on the JY on the way down. And we got a very weak reaction. Very weak reaction. Ugly little back test. Here's the gap fill thing. And now it's just rolling over again. So we're likely to pop out of this thing. And I would say this is the target for now. 9,300 for the target of JY this week. And that's sort of telling me, I think the equities are going to rally. All right. That's what it looks like. Let's keep going through the time frames here. So, okay, we're cleaning out some supply here. If we get a higher low on JY over here, then I would be cautious. But for now, I think we're good. CL is popping. Okay, cool. We'll take a look. Oh, dropped. It dropped. I read popped. It dropped. Okay, so that's cool. That's good for me. I got a bunch of oil shorts on my puts going on. So anyway, supply sitting over here. And you can see we're getting a reaction pretty strong out of that. So any smaller time frame, lower highs are valid shorts for JY. There's the very pretty level. Go look down here. I like this level right here for a short. We're coming into demand right now. Here. We already have lower highs sitting over here. This level is the breakout of the prior lows. That will get back tested. It's a fantastic short right there. Okay? 94,500. We come into that zone, and we get, a nice looking lower high over here in smaller time frame. Go for it, baby. Nice looking short. Okay, keep your eye on that. And let's just go take a quick look at CL because Pepe is telling us that it's crashing. Oh, very nice. Beautiful. That's great. I love it. You know what? I love it. It cleaned up that demand. And now we've got a really nice supply zone, Pepe. 65 looks fantastic. Oh boy, look at that. Beautiful zone. So just watch. If we start to, back test a little bit over here, I wouldn't be mind taking the short. Very nice. Cool. All right. Very good. There we go. For crude, we just looked at JY. Looks like an Aussie. Aussie has been destroyed over the last 2-3 months. Oops. That's not good. I just moved my supply line of the monthly chart. You can see here that the last 2 months, a massive sell-off, rejection of the highs, and now we're testing the bottom of the trend line, which has been holding since the beginning of 2016. We've hit it once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what do you think is going to happen? It looks like it's going to hold. I have to assume it's going to hold until it breaks. It has not broken yet. Therefore, I think we're actually going to start to turn around again. We're inside the daily demand zone. Take a look. We've hit the 240 zone over here, and we'll know if this is what this is what I'm anticipating over here. The channel holds, so we just start, back to the next part, back here again. So, a test of 8,000 up again. This level over here on the daily chart. So we'll know pretty soon because you can see that we're actually in supply on the 240. Right? It's the level that is this over here. And if we start to push up through the top again, we've got room up there, over here. So very possible that we're looking at a turn in Aussie dollars. There's the demand in the 60-minute resistance. Everything mess over there. Go. All right. And here's the demand. There's the supply. So we're sort of stuck in the middle. I wouldn't be entering this trade right now. But if we do get another hold of this level over here and we start rallying, I would be long. and expect that this supply is not going to hold anymore. So I'm leaning long for Aussie dollars, but just not yet. We need to see this lower time frames turn around. When they start turning around, it's time to get long for Aussie. Any questions so far? Everybody's good? Comments? Okay. Fine. Moving on. Pounds. All right. So, what we got? So we got a pair of monthly twins, again, hanging around. We had a chance to pull back out of there. It hasn't worked. So on the monthly chart, looking bullish. On the weekly chart, though, we got bearish twins. And we're back to the lows of the prior week, but guess what? Look at the daily and see why. So this is pretty strong demand right here. We weren't able to break through the top yet, right? So it's sort of limbo. There's 50 moving average and stuff, and there's Bollinger Bands in there and stuff like that. So I'm could it rally out of the top from here? Absolutely, it could. Could it just roll over? Yeah, I'm unclear about pounds. I see this head and shoulders that was here, but that looks like it may be finished already, right? This one. And we've come back to the neckline, which was here, and now we're rallying. So, this is a lower time frame trade now. We need to see what's going on over here in the 60 and see what the trend is to figure out if we're going to be able to rally up through this area. There's air up here, but we need to know if we're going to just roll over out of this or we're going to pop up. So let's go look at the 60 and figure out what's going on in this pounds trade here. Okay, there's our 60 chart. There's a really nice looking supply zone right there. And now I know why I'm confused, because the chart is confused. It doesn't know what it wants to do yet. It's sitting in supply. It's banging around. The demand is underneath us. The supply is right above us. There's no trade here yet. Okay, the trend seems to be still down for now. This could be looked at as a giant bear flag, or it could be like it's trying to hold, and therefore there's nothing going on because I have no clue where this is trying to go. Right? This whole thing here could be a bear flag. Right? This is the staff. Or I might be looking at, the beginning of this little higher low here, and now we're, hit some supply, we pull back, we hold demand, and so I have no clue what this is. No idea. So I'm not trading pounds. If someone sees something I don't, be my guest and let me know, because I don't see anything if it's worth my time. Next. Canadian. Well, what do we have here? Very interesting. Take a look. I love this. This is really strong. We were underneath these 5, 6, 7, 8 months, and we got a wicked rejection of the lows. Massive rejection. A hammer. If we can get above that sucker, we're going through this all the way to the top. Take a look over here. Nice bearish, bullish twins over here. We got underneath all this, and the lower Bollinger Band. Looks like it held. And you can see over here, I think we're looking at the inverse head and shoulders forming on the daily chart over here. Right? So it looks like, I say we're going to rally out of this sucker. So it looks like to me. Oh boy. Interesting. Let's take a look. Makes sense. Yeah. But it's not really showing much yet. It's not time for this trade. This is definitely the line in the sand right here. You're looking at it. It was all the lows. You see it was support, and now it's resistance. But we are making higher lows on the way through there. But until we can get through this high, we have to assume that it's not going to rally. Okay? Until it gets here. Once it gets through the top, it's over. We're going to explode through the top. But it may very well just be turning over here. You can see that this is where the battle is. We're just watching the battle. There's nice demand over here, so we're not collapsing at all in any way. We might just run into that and then rally up. So for now, it's a hands-off of Canadian based on what I'm seeing here. We're just chopping around, and that's the support line, / resistance line. Until, it decides which way it wants to go, I'm not interested. That's what we're looking at here. Okay, moving on, unless someone raises their hand. And looks like copper had a pretty strong move. And I think we've bottomed out over here, it looks like. On the monthly chart, 3 reds in a row, but we ended up in demand. You can see that on the weekly chart. We ended back into demand. The demand is the one that has made the last most recent high back here, right, in the beginning. And now it's starting to hold. So we did get a very nice bounce. And then the question is, are we going to start to, to turn the trend around again? Because this flipped into a downtrend. And now we have to start to build the uptrend again. This is so far one move off the lows, and we're coming into supply. We're in a downtrend. So this is still shortable. Right now, back tested to demand. Maybe over here will tell us what's going to happen. So I would say that's probably likely that we look for a back test into the 3 area, and then we'll know if this is really going to rally or not. So shorts is still the way to go here, at least for the higher time frame. And yeah, now they're for sure. There's the gap to fill. And 3 is, here. So we'll expect the shorts. We just hit this a little while ago. It's like an hour ago, 2 hours ago. We started hitting supply. We've come to demand. A lower high could be a day trade for you guys. A short of copper over here. If we get a lower high right now, look for the gap fill. We can see when we're back testing. If this thing starts turning over, you get a lower high, you take the short, aim for the gap. Okay. Copper. Cool. Soy. So, nothing to say other than, damn. That happened when I was on the plane. I was so pissed when I saw that. Because that trade I called myself last week. That was our trade of the explosion. And you could see on the monthly chart, we just turned it into a doji. We have a beautiful pair of bullish twins on the weekly chart. And now we're hit some supply on the daily, and we're pulling back a little. So there is a chance. There's a really nice zone that was formed. I'm going to show it to you again into the trade. We're using some of this big rally to get rid of some of this crappy supply up here. There's a really nice level sitting around over here. When we broke out of this, right around 1040-ish, there's a great demand zone that I'm going to look for on this little back test to see if we can join the longs over here for soy. Again, this is a swing, if you remember, and we're talking about getting up to 1150. So, we still got 100 ticks to go. 100, that's 400 ticks to go. So there's the supply / level that I'm looking at, and I'm going to walk you through the time frames down to the smallest time frame where the zone is, because again, this was like a news candle, so we can look at little time frames for the zone. You can see the supply, which we're reacting off of currently, and there's obviously air, so I expect this to get back tested. Okay, and that's where I'm going to join the long. You can see what it was, right? It was this resistance, it was supply, and then we turned it into demand with this rally-based rally, and now, new highs. So absolutely where I want to join the long trade. Okay, so let's go look at the zone. Okay, that was the 60. Let's look at it on the 15. So it's coming in around the little 45 to 38, still big. Okay, so it's still a little big. Soy is $50 a point, right? $12.50 a tick. So that's like $350 a contract. It's expensive. But because it's such a big candle and such a rapid, we can look at little time frames. This is where I've sort of narrowed it down to the demand on the little 2-minute chart. It's coming in at 39.28, 34.4. So again, still big. Not as big, obviously, but still like $250 a contract, which is, for me, for a swing trade, something that's feasible. But we can watch it come into the zone. I expect this to get hit, and you can trade it off of, the little reversal in the smaller time frame. This is a swing trade looking for 1150. Okay, so we're talking about $120 in soy. That is 6,000, not 60 something change per contract. For one contract. So really nice to go from the swing trade. Keep your eye on that. Something that you might be interested in doing. Bonds. Okay, we're going to wrap up with the bonds. What are we looking for? I think we're looking at the beginning of the next leg down, to be honest with you, which means higher interest rates. Okay, take a look here. We're landing in demand on the weekly chart, right? Sorry, the monthly chart. We did get the twins, but we didn't get anywhere near the high of the prior candle. On the weekly chart, it's looking really bullish, right? We had a nice, strong rally-based rally, but again, we're running into this area. This is going to be death for the bonds. Okay? Yeah, we got through slightly over here. But you can see as I start to work my way down that we're actually looking weaker, a lot weaker than we think. All right? There's the drop base so far. Likely to be a drop coming here. I think we're going to start to see, you know, the bonds turning over. I think this week we're back at the lows again. You know, 145 down here is very feasible on this 240 chart. Something this week. Let's take a look here. There's the 60 chart with the engulfer. We get a lower high here. That's it. It's time to get short. We hit the 60 supply. We base in the first level of demand, and then we got the lower high, came in right there, and now we're getting a little back test. You can see it on the small time frame. And if we don't make, you know, new highs, we turn over somewhere like right here. You can see it. This is the entry basically. We get a reversal inside here. That's the short, and start looking for, you know, here and down here. So keep your eye on bonds. I think we're going to see a sell-off. Okay, which means the higher rates are on the way. Okay, and that's it for this week so far. Anybody have any questions? This Wednesday will be a live trading session from the beach, so I can't promise there won't be background music, but I can promise we'll have fun. The team, go ahead, man. You had a question? Oops, I knocked you out of. I clicked on the. Yeah, I don't know about the clean. I don't want to spill the clean come out on my laptop, but the team, raise your hand again. I pushed the wrong button and I knocked you out. Sorry. There you go. We're back. Yeah, go ahead.
On natural gas. On natural gas, do you see an entry now?
Yep.
Because it just dropped.
Ooh, there we go. Little nice. Very nice. Yeah, absolutely. So we got a little pullback coming into some 2.7 level. All you need to do is watch for the higher low over here. So watch the little time frame. You don't want to take it until you get a higher low.
Okay.
So just, I'll be adding on this trade, on this move down. All you want to see is a little rally up. And here's a little supply zone.
Right.
Watch it hit the zone, make a higher low after that, and then you can get in and take
Got
it.
it.
Okay?
All right. Thank you. Well, enjoy your vacation.
Got it? Good. All right. Thank you. All right, guys. So I'll be the tweets will be a little bit less pronounced this week, obviously, because I'm just sitting on the beach. But I'll be sending out messages and stuff like that, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Okay? Everyone have a great day, and trade safe, trade smart. See you later. Ciao. Oh, Jason. Ooh, oh, Jason, go ahead. I won't hang up on you, man. Go ahead if you have a question. You there, Jace? No? All right, send me an email, brother. I'll see you guys later. Bye.